Greetings and welcome to another building showcase. I am Darkling and this of course is Ark Survival Evolved. Today we'll be taking a tour of my storage base on Ragnarok. Now this has been toured before. If you haven't seen Mazion's tour of this, there'll be a link in the description below. It's probably a better one to actually check out, so make sure you have a look at that. Otherwise stick around and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Okay, so this is the top of my storage base. Now, you'll note if you've seen Mazion's tour vid that I don't have my glass all set out and remodeled and transparency set. If you recall, there was an S Plus update where they had the glass reset, and unfortunately I didn't actually get around to fixing the top half of this base. I had fixed the lower half, but the top half never quite got done. But having a look at it, I decided to actually keep it transparent for this recording. I could have gone around and spent an hour or so actually remodeling it, but to be honest, I actually think it looks better without the transparency set at least. This build, for me, was a failure. I didn't like the way it came out. I think it looks better now that the transparency's not set. The idea was from the top of the cliff, from this entrance, it was meant to look like a fortress. So if you turned up, it was meant to be the hardest thing that you could possibly look at to get into. I'm not talking PvP wise, I'm talking like feudal, castle wise. So again, this is one of my entrances where I've got the sloped hatch frame into it, so we'll just slide up into that, and that gives us access to the main base. And as you can see, it's a nice big open area. There is a lot of dino storage around the outside. So what I'll do is I'll land in the middle next to me. And there we go, there's me. I'm on a non-dedicated host, so I have to keep that there for the tether. If I have him or me elsewhere, I tend to teleport around a lot. So we'll have a look around here. I've got a little area here. This is for Gollum Storage. Usually I have a Golem in here. I'm not sure where he must be at the way station. So yeah, you can hop off your Golem and you'll land up the top there. I'll just go through the other side entrance. So as you can see, this, next to the main entrance we have a access port for downwards and upwards. So we'll start on this level. This is my library. Thanks to the advanced raft mod we have books, which is great, and I've made little alcoves where you can sit and read, and obviously bookcases everywhere and a fireplace in the corner. So this is a nice little tidy little area. I actually had a lot of problems finding what to put in there. We'll go up from here. It ended up becoming the library because I couldn't fit anything else into it. Yeah. A mini storage. This isn't anything too major. This is just for when I brought the Golem in and need to unload some stuff quickly. Little side platform for landing any flyers on. And we'll go up again. Now if you've seen Mazion's tour video, you won't have seen some of the stuff that I'll show you. Again, another big area for storage. Now this is mostly an empty, like there's a lot of empty base here, and there is a good reason for that. This is for storage and I built it bigger than I needed it. I did that because I obviously want to be able to put more dinos in here if I need to. What is that? Oh, it's top of a gate. Perhaps. And again, another side entrance. Oh yeah, it's the gate from below. And another access up the top. Okay, and that's the flyer storage for the tapper. And this spot here you won't have seen on Mazion's tour. This is the Courthouse. Quite cathedral-like. We'll go up and we'll be the judge, shall we? Not sure how this will go. Oh, here we go. So for the judge presiding over the court, not too bad. So this never actually made it into the Mazion tour. That's because we were short on time. I decided it wasn't good enough to stick in the tour, and we were trying to cut time down. I think it still ended up being quite a long video. So that's the main structure, the highest part. I'll just leap off. Again, the sides are just storage, nothing terribly spectacular. Just somewhere to put everything. I actually made a big screw up on this base, and the underside isn't big enough to put Spinos. I made it big enough for Rexes and forgot that Spinos actually have a taller fin. So this is something that only got a split second of view time for the Mazion tour, so I just thought I'd add that in there so you can read it. And this is Maz's room. So I made a room for him because I knew he was coming for the tour, so I thought, stuff it, I'll give him his own bedroom. And look who it is. Mazion, yeah. I have your corpse. Wow, it's not really a corpse, he's asleep. I've got him drugged. Maybe I should put him on the bed. No, he's stuck in the... never mind. Yeah, I got some pictures. That's apparently Extinction. It was meant to be the very first Pooping Evolved picture, but yeah, I screwed that up. And obviously his original logo, which just before he came on the tour for that, he actually updated his logo, so yeah. And obviously the original tour vid picture didn't come out very good in game, but what can you do? And obviously I coloured a couple... bit of... Must have been a server save there, bit of lag, and I gave him a little kitchen and whatnot and coloured his birds for him. Apparently that's almost identical to the bird he had. I think he called it Blackwing Face. Okay, so from here I will take you down into the bowels of... Oh, actually I suppose I should have a quick look under here. So that's just storage for working dinos. Again, some more blueprint storage, and that's where the stairs come down to from the main library. So we'll go to the ramp downwards. And this is the main storage. Now the Spinos were meant to live down here, but like I said, the fin is a lot taller than I originally expected, and it goes up through the roof, which is unfortunate. In glasswork that hasn't been done, but you can see down, this is a rather extensively large build. So we'll get to that shortly. Whoops, that's my ramp down to my tech gen. Okay, my storage in here is done a little differently than I normally do it. It doesn't really look quite so much like storage here, but it is. This is, I put the vaults in back to front, so you don't get the vault look about it, and it basically makes it look like it's just walls, at least on my graphics to me. And if we follow this down, this is the crafting area, and I kind of made it so that the crafting area was a bit more workmanlike, and added a staff room below with toilet, a shower. Again, glass modeling not done. I figured if you were working in the crafting area, maybe you're working on some heavy tools, you need to have a shower and get cleaned up. If we go from here down, this is the point of one of the inverted towers. Now I did have this transparency set originally, so you could see through inwards, and you can see through outwards, so it's pretty good. I'll show you that from the outside when we do the fly around. And obviously I also have a little access port here, so there's one of the towers over there. This one's kind of the same, it's a little bit shorter. If you've seen one of my Project Pandora, you've seen I've actually redone a inverted tower before, and here's the scroll work. See, this is the scroll work that got me my second tour from Maz. I sent him a picture of me standing in the scroll, and that pretty much sold it. I was really happy about that, actually. I was trying to design a base that he would come back to, because I got the first tour and was like, okay, I've got a tour, I've done it, how can I get him back? So here's my Untitled Storage. I actually left the ground sticking through because it looks like they've actually fixed the problem. Maybe there was a problem with Thyla falling through floors, and I left the ground here so that I could park my Thyla on the ground itself, so I didn't have to worry about them disappearing down into the ground, which was really problematic. So from here we'll actually have to teleport because there's no physical connection. Well, actually no, I tell a lie. We'll check out the towers first. So critter storage, pretty simple. Apparently they're flying. And down from critter storage is my little cafe with outdoor seating around the outside. I just repeated outside a few times, but never mind. So that's the crafting inverted tower over there. Again, check the Mazion tour, everything looks way cooler. My graphics aren't that flash, and if you look down, that's the main supporting structure. See, like I said, I don't actually, as a whole, this base I don't like. There's certain aspects of it that I really do like. The landing platform below me, that was the first rendition that ended up becoming the scrolled fortress. Some of the modeling has been redone. I must have been for one of the videos I was doing, but this is the first rendition of the scroll work, so that made this base. All the way up to me adding that scroll work in, I didn't like this base at all. It's funny how that works. And below the cafe, go down and there's just a little private dining area. Go back up. So when we were doing the tour for this, I was literally sprinting the whole way through, we were trying to get through as much content as possible because it was so big, and we ended up, because we put both the way station and the scrolled fortress in on the same video. So this is the living quarters inverted tower. Ooh, wrong side. And that goes down into a little kitchen area. This is pretty much my inverted tower, my spawn area. And at the bottom is just a little bathroom area. So not terribly flash. Looks like I can't fit through here anymore. No, I did. I'm not sure what's up with that. There must be a slight clip issue there. Yeah, a bit of beer. Of course I want some of that in my tower. Go up and then we'll find that teleporter. Why am I flashing? I've got infinite stats on. Apparently it turned off. Of course it did. Okay, so me and myself are going down. And we'll go to the pod level. No, we'll go to the platform level. Now this is all rendered in already because we're below where we were, so that makes it a lot easier for base to load. Again, some glass issues. It would take me forever to go through and fix all the glass here, but it gives you an idea as to how I built some of it. Like you can see here, I did actually attach the scroll work on the sides via glass that was originally invisible, so you couldn't see the connections. That was just a safety measure, just to make sure that if anything disconnected along the way, it wouldn't fall down. So you can see the inverted towers quite nicely there. Obviously the scrolls are looking pretty cool. And then we've got the landing platform. Nice and straightforward. And you can see down the pod level below us. It's the pod level that I'm actually quite pleased with. Pod level. This is before the tech elevators were added. I would love to have actually had those for this build. Now, there's a certain piece like this, like you're actually going through the scroll work. I can't tell you how happy I was actually managing that. I know it's a simple thing, but I was really happy that I managed to incorporate the passage through. So this is the vertical greenhouse. Now I've done a tutorial for this. We won't actually be too tall, I don't know. So basically it's a whole bunch of crop plots, and they're all stacked on top of each other. So I think there's like 70 odd crop plots in here. I could be wrong. Probably am. Where's the exit? Is it that level? Yeah. I'm getting stuck on. So what I did is I built the structure, and then there's actually a gap around the outside, and then the outer structure. That's probably one of my more favourite greenhouse designs. I think it came out really good. There is a basic small fire storage. This is just for pteranodons and a few Argies at the bottom there. Again, bigger than I needed. This is a fairly sizable structure. We'll go into the main kitchen. So this would, if I had a tribe, this would be the tribe kitchen, and there's a little log out zone in the back here. You can access the preserving bins from the inside, obviously. I believe those are double door frames around the outside. So what we'll do is we'll go down first, and what have we got here? Who's that? You shall not be. Oh, that's my other half. That should be the character we are playing right now, so it must have been a disconnection of accounts. So yeah, this is the bar. Again, glass modelling not turned out quite so great, but I didn't go through and remodel. Why can't I fit through that door? See, I've got some bottles and whatnot from the advanced raft mod at the top there. Plates at the back. I really like that mod, it's great. Through there. Going down into the main living quarters. The spawn point, little wardrobe area, bathroom. Now this here, we'll change the transparency while I'm here. It was meant to look like a TV room. So, little TV cabinet made out of wood. I don't know how TV-like it is, but it did the job. Again, another basic little library. I must have been really hopeful that I was going to get lots of blueprints. Again, there's a lot of snapping issues here. This is still quite early on in my builds. I like to think that I do a better job these days, but maybe not. It's hard to be sure. I mean, I could have made this super, like, gone through and made all the glass modeling, fix it all and whatnot. This is just a run through. If you want to see how it originally looked, you just watch the Maz tour, it'll be fine. And we'll go down to the hatchery. Okay, so from the hatchery you can see obviously the glass there's a glass roof that you can't see. I wonder if it's... I might have actually modelled that, come to think of it. I did indeed. I was doing that for one of the intro segments, so I'll have a look at that properly in a moment. So again, we've got, this is for the hatchery, so lots of cookers, lots of fridges, and this is where I was hatching my wyvern. Come out here and then we can actually look at the structure from afar. That's how it came out. I quite like the look of it, and I will take you up and have a look at the scroll work. What's in there? Ah, tech gen, of course. I like tucking things away, so sometimes I lose track of what's where. Okay, so we go onto the roof of the hatchery. And the reason I want to show you guys this is it never actually got shown quite so much in Maz's tour. So you've seen the scroll work that I've done before, hopefully. Well, for this particular piece, I actually split it into two. And instead of doing it on both sides, I made it look like I'd kind of like cut it with a knife and then spread it out. So one side is has the trimmings and the other side doesn't. So from the inside you got that nice flat kind of cut. I did the same on the other side. I'm really happy with how this looks. This looks really cool. This is the redeeming feature of this base. So if you look up, you can see a good idea as to how the base is assembled. There's a lot going on with the supporting structure. You can see there's still glass up the walls, up the cliff. Obviously I didn't do that great a job when I went through and did the videos. I must have only, when I was doing the intro segments, I was in a hurry and was making everything invisible that I could see for the segment that I was trying to record. So obviously I didn't do that great a job. There's actually stacks and stacks of glass foundations going up the cliff. This base was not designed to be like this. I thought the cliff was smaller. It was meant to be a circular base, half at the top, half at the bottom, but it didn't turn out like that. But what can you do? The problem I find with Ark is sometimes you think, oh, that's a perfect size for what I want, and when you actually go to do it, it's a lot bigger than you previously thought. So I'm going to jump down to the hatchery main level. So here is where we delve into the seedy underbelly of the build. The first room we're going to come across is the unlicensed boxing arena. Now, as Maz said, the combatants are rather animated because, you know, they look really aggressive and angry towards each other. Yeah. Sometimes vanity builds, you kind of just have to go with a whim, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. This one, so-so. I saw the advanced raft railing and thought, oh, a boxing arena. Don't ask me how it came up with it, but it just happened. I had to do something on a slope because the amount of terrain that actually comes through the ground here. I think if you remove some of the foundations, you'll find the ground is actually very close to the surface. It's actually sticking through in a few places up the top there. So if we follow the path down, we come to probably my favorite of all my vanity builds, and that is gardeners, gardeners, gardeners. The name itself is enough to give you an idea what it is, and that in itself makes me laugh just every time. So I've got a bouncer and a bunch of patrons, including a couple there, as you can see. If you hadn't guessed, this is a strip club. So the advanced raft mod thankfully has a giant woman for sticking on your raft who got stuck on the wall, and we have some dancers up in the glass boxes or cages, as you might want to call them. Got one dancer on the actual stage. I used the half walls. This is about when the half wall first got introduced, so it was a new thing to try out. I put obviously wood above. There is lighting hidden amongst the parts in here, and obviously, as you can see, the wooden tables are set into the edge of the stage. A little bit of drinks and whatnot. I really wish you could get the NPCs to actually sit. So that's from the S Plus mod, obviously. So from here we've got the bar. Now I have to give credit to L360 for the cupboard at the back there. That was his idea. It took, I think between the two of us, it took us about an hour, possibly a little bit longer to actually assemble it. We had a few issues setting it up. There are a few hiccups that we ran into, but we got through it pretty well. We managed to tidy things up. The pillars are there to tidy up the edging a bit, but no, it turned out pretty good. I've left one open just so it looks like somebody's been using it. Maz, on the original tour, he actually closed it and then reopened it, and of course it opens inwards, so the doors were through the wall. Above the counter we've got more bottles and cups and a bit of storage and whatnot. Then there's the actual storage room there. Further up there, that goes into the back area. I'll go through there from the actual stage though. So if you go from the stage, you can enter the back area. Obviously there's an entrance to the cages, and there's the entrance down into the behind the bar. There is one room up here, and each of the rooms has their own bathroom. And if we go down, there's some more tucked away. There are chains hanging from the ceiling in case you need to hang something. And again, another bathroom. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't know what the chances are. No, that's not what I want. You know what I want either. Let's just turn on this. What I'm going to try and do. Why is it not letting me bring up the HUD? I'm holding the E and it's not doing anything for some reason. Let's just get the demo gun out. I got creative mode on because I was fixing some problems. And look what we have. We have somebody down here. As you can see, when 360 came to visit, he actually got into the mood, and see if I can pull him out of here. Probably gonna get dropped again. Now he actually missed out on the Maz tour. He was just doesn't want to pick him up. Come on, we're gonna play with a body in the perfect place to be playing with one. Oh, he's kind of standing up, sort of. Yeah, we got him up. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on. That's better. And I'm going to put that tile back in place. Actually, before I do, I'll just have a look under here, because yeah, as you can see, there is still some space under here. I could probably stick something down here, but this build's pretty much complete, I think. So I'll just put that tile back into place. So he was actually here technically for Maz's tour, but there was a big update, and the problem with big updates is sometimes you fall through the floor. So otherwise he would have been here when Maz turned up in his bunny hat and his birthday suit below the chains. I'm actually kind of disappointed that he wasn't in it, because that would have just been too funny. Better turn walk back on. So further along, another bedroom, or two I think actually on this one. So this is where I was just mucking around with the hammocks and whatnot, the beds from the advanced raft mod. Had a lot of fun with those. Again, another bedroom full of chains. You know, you might want to hang paintings or other. And at the very end of the run we have the powder room with the mirrors, which don't actually work as mirrors. I never understood that. I'm assuming if you got really high graphics, maybe they actually turn on. But that is the seedy underbelly. So we've been through the bowels of the base, and what I'll do now is I'll cut and we can go and check out the base from the air and see what it looks like from there. What are you looking at? Does my mouse change? Maybe not. Okay. Oh, that is the teleport. Okay. Okay, so this... Okay, so this is what it looks like from above. So we've seen some of that when I first came through. So what I'll do is I'll head over the edge, and like I said, I haven't remodeled the glass. It's still as basic glass for the top half at least. And as you can see, most of the levels are quite visible. Inverted towers, and the Quetzal platform, and then the pod level below that, and it's all connected with the nice little scrolly supporting structure, which I'm doing a terrible job of showing. And as you can see, I actually built some of it into the cliff. This is to make it look like... I do this on a lot of my builds, where I will actually build exactly as I would into the terrain, and then it gives you a feel of it being realistic. It's been a long time since I've been on a Tapejara. My control is absolutely shocking apparently. But there's so much, like, if you add this sort of thing to a build where you build into the terrain, it makes it feel so much more realistic. There's so much more. This particular build, if I recall correctly, actually has a glass stem up the middle, because this isn't actually the design that I planned for the base. It was meant to be completely different, but as you can see, I'm actually hitting a glass wall there. So that actually goes up the main part of the build. Oops. And the top and the bottom are connected using that. And I added the... am I missing some tiles? Why am I missing tiles? That's really bizarre. Anyway. I added the supporting structure afterwards. It was added as an afterthought. But it turned out so good that I decided to keep it. And no wonder my controller is really bad. My X key is not working for some reason. That's really bizarre. Must look into that. As you can see, the vertical greenhouse looks quite a bit different from the outside. I really love the look of it. If you want to build that, I do have a tutorial for building something along those lines. I've done a ground-based one, so it will look a little bit different and it's a little bit shorter. There is a mistake in it. If you keep an eye out, you might spot it. Not on this particular one, but on the tutorial, which is so good. I don't actually plan out my videos, I just sort of make them as I go. I'm not really into like writing scripts or anything like that. Everything just sort of happens as I need it to. And yeah, that's pretty much how the build came together. I have a couple of side entrances down below, obviously. There's the hatchery entrance. I built the, if you recall the waste station video, I had the diamond pattern in the wall. I actually added it to the outside of the hatchery as well. And on this far side here, there is actually hidden there. Apparently it's under the rock. There is actually another entrance in there. I'd actually have to break out that rock to show you, but there is a little door for access, so that's another problem with, I think this map's been updated a few times since I was last on here. I'm probably the most proud about the actual supporting structure, the scroll work. Like I said, this is the first base that I ever actually added scroll work to. This is the first actual instance of it, and I can even show you exactly which one was built first out of all the scrolls. It was this one right here. And I know it was this one because it actually penetrates through into the structure above. Now, I saw when I watched Maz's tour, because I had to watch Maz's tour because I wanted to see everything from his perspective. I don't see my builds the way you guys see them on like that tour. My graphics is set really low, but I remember Maz stopping and looking at this, and I could have gone through and fixed it so this didn't stick through, but I left it because this was the very first one I did. I screwed it up, and this was the result of screwing it up. So I left it there as a reminder of not to make mistakes and to just keep at it. So what I did is I ended up sticking some more ceiling tiles over the top. So these don't really need to be here. It just kind of makes like almost like a little stage. But yeah, I had to leave it. It's a reminder, and I think it's important to have yourself little bits and pieces. Like sometimes it's not how well things work, sometimes it's how badly it works. You know, if you have something groundbreaking thing happen in your life, you like you have an accident or something and you want to remember it, you kind of want a scar or something to remember that whole instance. I thought this would be a fitting spot to finish the video on. This is the exact spot that I took the screenshot of that got me my second Mazion tour video, that got me into YouTube actually. If you haven't checked out the videos that I'm referring to, I'll have a link in the description below. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe again if you haven't already. And most importantly, take care and enjoy your building.